I don't play games of Warhammer very often, but when I do, I always seem to make some sort of horrendous blunder in my first turn. Let me set the stage for you. This is a game of Steve's Death Guard versus my Drukhari. It's 1500 points, and we're playing Tempest of War. In this game, I actually kind of really thought about my deployment here. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to get blown off the board if the Death Guard went first. Plague Burst Crawlers are quite scary, so I made sure that if they were going to move into a position, they'd either have to be shooting through dents or would only really have one target, and that one target shouldn't be the same boat. So both those Plague Burst Crawlers on the flanks, I only really have one target, and I've got another boat at the back, which is well hidden from everything. The rules we had in this game from the Tempest pack were they are sticky objectives, and also you do an action that allows you to then get points when you capture them. They can be undone later on. So I knew my plan would be to get these first 2 points here, get those sorted, get the action on them, and then try and just delay him, slow him down as much as possible, and then just build points from there. I went first, as I mentioned, and I got some good cards. No retreat, no surrender here did kind of screw me a little bit. I couldn't move things as much as I'd like because they were already on an objective. But Battlefield Supremacy was an interesting one. We roll off who gets the extra objective. You can see on No Man's Land, Steve has 2 closer to his deployment zone, and I only have 1. So to score this second turn 1, I need to get an objective that's quite close to his lines. Fortunately, I am Drukhari, and therefore very fast, so my plan was this. For most of my army, I can play pretty cagey. Stay out of line of sight, do the action on these 2 objectives to start getting some points, and just get one of these ships forward to take this objective. With Black Heart, I can actually advance and charge turn 1. So my plan was to get here, advance, and charge into his Plague Burst Crawler, shutting that down, allowing me to have a bit more maneuverability, maybe slow him down so he has to come and deal with this boat. Have a think and write down how many things you think I've done wrong here. Just with this one boat. Ignore this one at the back. I know I did that wrong. I set him up in a position where he would get shot by nothing, and then moved him to a position where he was actually in range of both Plague Burst Crawlers. That did get destroyed turn 1, but that's not what we're talking about here. For further context, that boat has a Succubus and 10 Blood Brides in it. My idea being that even if he popped the Raider, that means I've then got OBSEC bodies suddenly jumping out onto the objective. Alright, let's compare notes. Number 1, I shouldn't have left the Succubus and the Blood Brides in there. I could have jumped the Succubus and the Blood Brides out, hidden behind this line of sight blocking here, just sent the boat forward. All I need to do for this objective is just hold it by the end of my turn, which that one boat would have done. Number 2, failing the charge. I didn't actually get the charge off on the Plague Burst Crawler, which allowed it to shoot this boat at the back. Should have re-rolled it. I don't think I even attempted to CP re-roll it, and I really, really should have. You know what made it easier to get the charge off? Number 3, forgetting my stratagems. Now, look, this is a contentious point within the Warhammer community. Anyway, there are a lot of stratagems, and yes, I am bound to forget some. But I had one in my mind. I even put it on the table. Enhanced Aether Sails gives me an 8-inch auto advance. I rolled the advance and only rolled a 2. Again, maybe I should have re-rolled that advance to get closer for the charge. My plan was to do that charge and protect the boat from being shot from outside sources. I really should have done that. Number 4, if I was going to move this distance and actually get to this point to try and take the objective, pre-measure how far his other things can shoot. His smelly, crawly tank thingies, these ones over here, were able to move around and just melted this thing to death because it was within 24 inches. If I'd been the other side of these trees, 1, they would have been shooting through dents, and 2, they might not have even been in range. The 5th mistake is one that I made last time and really should stop making, is I let the secondary cards bait me into stupid moves. I actually don't think it was Battlefield Supremacy that was the real problem. It was no retreat, no surrender that I think caused me the most issues. Because of the way I deployed, these Hellions here and all of this mess by this objective here, if they had moved away from it, I would have lost 5 points. However, I think I should have sacrificed that 5 points, because if I moved all of this stuff up much further to in line with the boat that did go forward, then I've got a massive front line. He'd have to take me off a lot more objectives, which means he's slowed down. Imagine if all of these Hellions had moved forward. All 3 boats are in the middle of the board. He has a lot to deal with, which when it pops is going to have 15 Incubi, 10 Blood Brides, loads of other stuff. There's racks back here as well that will be able to move forward later. There's a lot of stuff he's going to have to deal with. And what that means is he can't do the action on these objectives, which will slow him down, and I'll just be racking up points by these 2 at the back. The outcome will be the same. He'd wipe me off the board. I think in this game I only destroyed 350 points worth of his stuff versus he basically killed all of my army apart from like these racks at the back. So I'm interested in your stories. Do you have any similar situations that you've been in? Any other tactical advice you might have, or you know, any kind of fun or interesting or silly things you've done in games which have either lost you the game or an opponent has lost because of something they've done? Let me know in the comments below. And with that, that'll be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.